Hey guys, welcome. We're here to another edition of Emerge Detour Essentials live from our YouTube channel, and we're also streaming live on Facebook. I'm Naomi Garrick, also known as the PR Chick, and I'm a personal branding coach and also the founder of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agency here in Kingston. As a coach, I help individuals to get clarity on who they are, understand their unique value, and how to stand out in a noisy world by simply being themselves.
It's her birthday, Rishi. That's why she is allowed to just.
Wait, can I go next, please? I have to go next. My name is Rochelle Cameron, and I wear the sash of Lucky Hill St. Mary. My hobbies are becoming a know what a Naomi.
It's a PR chick, I'm sure.
Guys, last week you said I didn't give the whole thing, so I want to make sure that
there's more.
Oh. No, but it's your special birthday this week. We're going to allow you to just take a
Okay, Rochelle.
So my name is Rochelle Cameron. That's it. My smile speaks for itself. I don't know what to say after you do that recitation. Annoying.
Or elevator pitch. So I'm Kathy Goodall. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
So now you guys are going to make me look like I'm just extra. Last week you said that I did not do my full pitch, and now when I do the pitch, it's like everybody's like, okay.
You said that last week, Rochelle. I don't recall.
Go look at the tape.
You know what, Nye? It's your birthday week. It's your birthday, girl. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Anything that you want to do, it's your birthday. So what you miss, Nye? You're not getting to do any horseback riding? Horseback riding?
No, I'm not. No, but I think that polo will be starting back soon. Can't wait. So I'm just waiting to get that call to say, come on down with the boots, and I'll be ready to go.
You know what? Like ordinary people, just I don't know, want to go hang with their friends, want to go to the beach, but then nice, like, I'm gonna go horseback riding. My name is Emily. I so miss my horse. I really do. I totally miss my horse. My name is Naomi.
Emily.
We love you, Nye. And it's your birthday, and we're so excited.
What's your birthday, Nye?
What's that, Kat?
What are you doing for your birthday?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna be turning 40 on Friday. Woo! And so my whole thing around my birthday this year now is making limoncello out of lemons. And for those who don't know, limoncello is a Italian aperitif or aperitivo.
I don't know what an aperitif.
I was gonna explain. So you have it. Well, first of all, it's a lemon liqueur. It doesn't really taste that great, but you have it before or after a meal. And so I should have left for Italy this morning, actually. That's clearly not happening. To celebrate my 40th, I was going to be in Tuscany for 10 days and doing all these exciting things. But when I realized that wasn't happening, and after getting over all of that, I decided to use my birthday to create a brand day where I'm going to be doing all these different interviews with brand experts to help my community to actually build a better online and offline personal brand. So it's now brand day. So I'm very excited about that. Hashtag PRChick40. And I'm going to be doing a big brand giveaway where we're giving away 10 amazing items to one winner. So you have to tune in, and I'm doing a free webinar on Sunday about building your online brand. So that's how I'm turning my lemons into limoncello.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like that though, because like regular people would have lemonade, you know, and you have limoncello.
I was trying to keep the Italian theme.
I like it. Ciao bella. It's so beautiful. You're beautiful. I love it. I just love it.
Grazie.
Okay. So tonight
Yes.
We are Lymin with the mandem, right? And
Yes.
we have some really exciting people that we're going to be talking to tonight. Every week we sit down and we think about who we want to talk to, who excites us and interests us, who do we find intriguing that we can share so many awesome takeaways with golden nuggets. And we thought of these three gentlemen that are spending their evening with us tonight.
Yes.
So we have Mr. David Shirley, who is, he's such an amazing man. I don't know how he finds time to do all of these things. He's in coffee, he's in sports, he's in entertainment, and he's not just in these industries, he's at the top of all of these industries. So he is managing director for Stoneleigh for Jamaica Coffee Corp. He is also the director for Locker Room Sports, Vele. He is a director for Kaylee Group. And he's not a man that is in the public eye very often. So when he agreed to come and spend some time with us, we're very excited. But what I found extremely interesting is that when he sent me his profile, the first thing on his profile was that he is the husband of Shani McGrath Shirley. And the second thing on his profile, he is the father of 3, India, Thai, and Mali. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. So regardless of his positions that he holds professionally, when it comes to his personal life, he understands his place as husband and father. Hello, Mr. Shirley.
Hey,
Hi, David.
Hi guys, how you doing?
we're
This
great.
person next to David.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to taking the licks.
What shall we do next? For Sandor?
Oh, so next. So let me tell you a story about this person that is next. Several years ago when we attended the University of the West Indies Mona campus, I met a gentleman who is from the School of St. George's. Him and a guy named Clive used to hang out together. So this is back in the day. And for the younger people who are online who don't know that you used to have to go to the library, get library card, borrow book and read book and photocopy pages, there was a time when there was no internet to do that. So we used to be always outside the library on a little stoop. So when you hang out with Sandor, Garfield Reese, aka Burrow, and Clive, you have to strong because them Monday will laugh after you from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening. Every day they find something to laugh at you. So I've been in the supermarket and I have seen a gentleman named Sandor Panton, and my name is Rochelle Cameron. And Sandor does not seem to know my name. He ball up, Rochi! And you gotta love it. So amazing guy, Sandor. Some of you may know as husband to Puss Backfoot, father of 2
Yeah, that's my claim to fame.
And he is also one of the pioneers in internet social media, one of the first movers in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight because a lot of people don't realize is Sandor, they kind of all bring Facebook come to Jamaica. Don't Sandor?
Not really, but okay.
So we get a chance to sit with Sandor. Sandor is one of the coolest guys on the planet. So you see him, so he is, but if him laugh after you, you are properly laughed after.
His fans are online.
Okay, and so last
Sorry.
but not least, we're gonna bring on Gary Matalon. So Gary is a friend and also a client, and he is a co-founder as well as a director and CEO of the KLE Group. And so they were responsible for Fiction Nightclub, which was like the biggest nightclub in Kingston. Tracks and Records, Usain Bolt's Tracks and Records, which now has locations in Montego Bay, London, Kingston, and will soon reopen in Ocho Rios. And also a new luxury property development that's going to be in Araka Bessa, and that's Bessa. So you can look up for that as well. But a lot of people may also know Gary from the dance hall, nightlife, entertainment scene. He can be seen at all events that are happening And he probably knows more about the dance hall industry and entertainment than many of us that are watching right now that think we know everything. He's definitely a fan and advocate and a supporter of the entertainment culture in Jamaica. Also, he is also married to another female powerhouse, Tina Matalon, and he's a father of 3 amazing children. So we want to welcome Gary. Gary, we're super excited to have you here as well.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome.
What
So-
an intro.
So,
What's in that cup?
I'm excited.
What's in Gary's cup?
Mm.
in his Tracks and Records Cup.
Wrong cue.
One word.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I was disguising mine as coffee. You just come right out.
David,
I need to,
You need to get your
Drink some.
production team to assist you, David.
yeah, man.
So guys, I mean, we talked about all the different things that each of you do. And my first question I would pose to David is, how do you juggle all of those things? I mean, sports, coffee, entertainment, those are drastically different industries.
Yeah, well, I'm an Aries, you know. Like I tell my wife all the time, you know, she has multiple personalities, so I ain't going anywhere. But let me just say thank you guys for inviting us on the show. Listen to you guys introduce the show, and let me just say beautiful smiles all around, eh?
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
Thank
And
you.
it's pretty amazing that,
Thank you, Sandor.
not me.
pretty amazing that the people that you have asked to come on the show, we all know each other pretty well, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how do we manage all these different things? I think I just enjoy creating new ventures, new activities, and I think it started out when, you know, we all grow up with a passion with something, minus sports, but after a while we go through a phase where we want to go to parties, etc. I think I came to the realization that I have to do something when my dad said, "I'm not giving you any more money to go party." So, so we said, all right, well, you know, how are we going to finance this operation now? Going to parties, you know, it was a big thing. And so, you know, you started to generate ideas to make money, what you call hustle at the time, legal hustling. And one of the things that I remember is that, you know, when I would ask a young lady to go on a date with me or go to a party, you know, I'd always pay for her. So, you know, there's a motivation to always be achieving, doing something progressive. I mean, from I started dating, I would always offer to pay for my significant other. So I think that there's just a general motivation to provide, and always wanting a sense of independence. You know, that to me is one of my measures of success, is independence, knowing that I can go play football with Sandor, or you know, can go to the country if I want on a particular day, and there's no real one person that can say, well, David, you can't go today. So that has really been one of my motivations to keep, you know, aspiring, keep performing, keep providing for my family. Coffee, sports, entertainment, that's my love. Coffee is a family business. Sports and entertainment just come naturally as being a Jamaican. And I enjoy what I do.
Okay, so
Oh, go ahead, then.
okay, so I was gonna say, just to follow up on that question, I would pose a similar question to Gary. Gary, you also wear several hats. You are a creative project manager. You ideate a lot, and you've come up with a lot of amazing concepts. How do you manage all of those different types of businesses? And how does this really play to your passions and some of your core values?
You're assuming that I manage them. No, I think, you know, no, man. The truth of the matter is, I think project management has served me well, right? I decided years ago to project management. I was in primarily construction out of university, and construction is what I was doing for a living. And project management was an essential skill needed to manage projects, right?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I started getting into it, and it became almost like I became passionate about it. It became like my thing, and I got engulfed in it, and I went on to becoming a project management professional, which is there are additional levels we can reach in project management for like program management and specific areas of project management you can specialize in. But overall, becoming a project management professional is kind of like the where everybody aspires to in that field. And I think that, if you think about project management as a discipline, it really helps you in all aspects of your life. I think one of the reasons why I'm able to do multiple things and to some extent keep them under control is because of the fact that I am very organized. I think I'm organized, and I think that serves me well especially when juggling different things.
Mm-hmm.
But don't make any mistake. Any business, whether, and you know this, right? Because you run your own business. But any business is going to consume you, right? And to think that you have multiple businesses, don't make any mistake. It's not me one running all of these multiple businesses. Like in the case of new storage, construction, and project management, I have very little involvement in the day-to-day operation of the business. But I deal with it more on a strategic and oversight type role, which is not as demanding on my time as, say, like a CEO position at KLE, which has been going, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's very different. And then I always, even in the situation of KLE, I mean, David is our chairman, and he will tell you like the support that you get from your partners, and your board of directors, and your founding members, and being in the trenches with you for so many years. You're really not doing it on your own at all. There's no way, shape, or form that it's like I'm juggling everything. It's not how it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and guys, you are getting some commentary here online. I see Barbie says, Sandor, David, and Gary, 3 of my favorite great Jamaican men. Not just Jamaican men, great Jamaican men.
Great.
Yeah. Sandor, what's up? Sandor, you are also the original juggler of many things and wearing many hats. One of the things that I always remember is that you were one of the early movers in social media when people didn't even understand the power of social media. You were in the background pushing, and what we are now seeing is a lot of the stuff that you said was going to happen. Tell us a little bit about Top 5 and your early movement in social media and what you're seeing happening now, and how the face of your business and what you're doing has evolved.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me, ladies. So Top 5 Jamaica actually started as a website, a project that I had to do for a master's program at UWI. I was away, so it's a website. It's still up. It has nothing to do with what Top 5 Jamaica, the business, is right now, which is basically digital media marketing. But it evolved over time. I set up that website in 1998. Very early days.
Yes.
It's still up. It's still up. But what I basically did was evolved with whatever was happening in the digital space, in the social media. Well, when social media became a thing, there was a time when people kept coming to me because they knew me as the internet guy. Coming to me about social media, I was just like, no, I don't do that, because I was already focused on other things in the online space that was making me money. But eventually I was just like, why am I redirecting this? I mean, this is the future. So around 2008 is when I actually ended up in starting to focus a lot on social media marketing and digital marketing in general. Ironically, Gary actually referred one of my early clients, still is a client, One of my favorites, popular restaurants. Two of them in town. Yeah, so it's what I've tried to do and still continue to do now is basically evolve, morph, and even with what's going on right now, you absolutely have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to actually try and look ahead and try and make sure that you have something that's going to stay for now, but you're also planning for what you're going to evolve into, or what you're going to jump into, or what you're going to try, or what the business will become. So, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. We talk a lot
Right.
about it.
Great.
So I have a question, and this is basically for everybody. Who is your biggest influence in business?
Biggest influence in business? There's been a few. One person who, so I actually left Jamaica. I migrated in 2001, went to Canada, worked for a hardcore online marketing company. We're doing online casino marketing, crazy money, just crazy, just hardcore guerrilla marketing stuff. Nothing that I'd ever dreamed that I could be doing here in Jamaica. The owner of that company, his name is Steve DeGeese. He really just helped. I mean, I always wanted to get into business for myself. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but working for him, I was able to just see how it was done and evolve into it. Very shrewd businessman, but we went through some crazy times at that company. I still remember when I went to the interview. You know, here in Jamaica, it's a big deal when you say, all right, here are my degrees. I have my BSc in this, my MSc. They didn't want to see it. I went there, I was dressed in a suit. Just like, all right, dude, we're going to try you. Don't wear the suit. Everybody's wearing jeans and t-shirts. Very laid back. They just care about what you can do. Can you do the job? And are you a good fit for the team? So how Steve ran his business, there were some aspects that were crazy. And I actually reconnected with him for the first time in 10 years recently. But he definitely influenced and guided and helped me to be able to set up my own company in the end.
Very nice.
Mr. Shirley?
Wants to
Yeah,
go
okay,
next?
okay, I'll take the baton. I'll take the baton from Sandor. I think one person would be my father, right? So I've been working around him for maybe about 20 years now. But you know, growing up watching him, watching how he does his integrity, his business ethics, the pace that he moves at, his decision making. I think that's the person that I look up to most. The reality though, it's not easy working in a family business, right? A lot of times it's frustrating and but that's my one boss. If I had to say that's the person that I would look at and say that I've learned a lot of things from. But I have been fortunate that I've been able to learn a lot and be influenced by some of my business partners and friends. I'm very good friends. Some of my friends are from prep school, right? And many of them are in business. I have a business partner in Gary who I've been working with for the last 10 years. And, I look at attributes that he has, strengths, weaknesses, etc. And I try to look at the things that I can use within my skill set. My brother Stephen, we're like a yin and yang, but when we try to make business decisions, we usually come out to the right decisions, but it's a battle, So I have my friends that have been able to influence me and help me to develop over the years. And that's a beautiful thing, when after all these years, you can still have people that you play football with, you do business with, and you still admire how they're, running their businesses, doing their jobs and their family life. So those are kind of my influences. No none of the typical type of people that you would call, you know, because it's important to understand how you measure success, or, you know, some people look at just money or just how high you climb the corporate ladder. But I tend to look at it as success as how rounded, how balanced an individual is. So that's it for me.
All right, Gary.
I think similarly to David, I think my influences came in stages, right? So my earliest influences would have definitely been my family. I mean, both my mom and my dad worked very, very hard, and I saw that discipline and all of that growing up. Both my brother and I, we saw that, you know, as it was the way things were. You know, you just had that discipline and that hard work, and that's what you did. And then of course my grandparents. My grandfather was although we didn't live with him, we spent every waking moment that we weren't in school with him. So we had summer holidays, Christmas. I mean, we were in the States going to school as well. So you talk about Thanksgiving and all of those holidays were all spent here in Jamaica with my grandfather. I used to go to the office with him, and you know, of course, that's very, very early days. As I got older and I came out of school and started my working life, I think at that point in time, my biggest influence, without question, would have been Peter Matalon, who was my cousin. And he kind of took me under his wing and was showing me everything, and you know, brought me up in my first early years of actually being at work and having responsibility and that sort of thing. And then as I, you know, graduated from that and started getting into the whole world of entrepreneurship, I mean, without question, I'm not saying this because he mentioned me, but certainly David and I worked very close together. Man was getting all emotional a while ago.
We planned this earlier.
No.
What, we're doing good.
Fun and joke aside, you're talking about we've been in business since 2008. We've been in business together, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that, you know, we formed a company in 2008 together, and it's since then. I mean, I don't think there's a week that has passed, whether I'm in Jamaica, in London, in Dubai, in Miami. It doesn't matter where in the world I am. There's not. I almost say there's not a day that goes by, but there probably is go by. But there's definitely not a week that goes by that we don't talk, and it's a lot of times it's trying to navigate certain challenges or deal with certain things, and we definitely don't always agree. But at the end of the day, it's like he says, you know, you have that kind of working relationship. So that's been great, and I've been fortunate to have, you know, guidance from some of the top business people in Jamaica. I think that we all do, and I mean, even somebody like Sandor, you can't want somebody, you know, in his field that is in a, you know, that's a better person to talk to than him. And I think that surrounding yourself with, even you, Naomi, I mean, my PR go-to has saved my life on many occasions. You know, I mean, if you think about influences in business, it comes from so many different places and from so many different people and in so many different forms. And I think as you move through all your career and your life, that also changes because your network changes. You know, different things happen as you grow. You know, you have different needs. So,
okay, great. So, Gary, since you just stopped right there, right? We're talking about business and business influences, but we know that one of your favorite things is also just our entertainment space, dance hall, reggae. And people that follow you on Instagram will probably see more of that than the business side. So where did this love affair start?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess it would have been from my early days from the beginning of my going out. You know, my early days of touching the road was with people that were in the industry. So primarily, you know, artists, DJs, producers, and I'm not sure exactly why, because I have no musical talent whatsoever, right? I can't hold a note to save my life. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's been a constant in my life. I mean, if you think about like in the, I say late 80s, early 90s, Delano, Richie D, Shaggy. I mean, these guys are people that are well known in the music industry. They have made their living in the music industry. And because of that, I mean, I've done everything from carrying record boxes when I was in university, traveling with them as their big manager. I mean, doing like, you're talking about, being backstage. And I love music. I love it. I just absolutely love it. Like, I love it. And reggae and dancehall is my go-to genre. So, when you see me in that environment, it's really and truly because that's where I want to be. That's my leisure activity, and I mean, even like if you think about like family vacations over the last, I can't even as far back as I can remember, family vacations are with, Shaggy and his wife and his kids and my wife and my kids. I mean, so it's more than just being in a dance. It's that a lot of the people that make up that industry and that that feature in those arenas are people that I am very close to, just genuinely close to us. That's my friends and family that are family.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sandor, we're just talking to Gary about passion with dancehall. Sandor is one of those quiet guys. You know Sandor's birthday party that him have in August?
Yes.
Dance.
Bashment, yes.
Every year them come with something completely different and turn up the dance. And Sandor, tell us a little bit about your leisure activities. I know that you were quite a cricketer and a big cricket fan. We used to spend time on the mound. I was drinking rum. You were actually paying attention. But I think more people, because let me tell you, I see Leighton Davis here, big up Sandor's. Deborah Taylor is saying solid panel. So people also want to get an idea of what you guys are behind all of this. So tell us a little bit about your leisure time, Sandor.
Well, one of my key things that I love to do every Monday and Thursday, I have a football game. David is in the group. We'll play for 2 hours.
Is that Masters group? Is Masters on the reach now?
Just say over 35. Over 35. It's a big group. It's about, on any given night, you might have between 18, sometimes even 30 people, but usually somewhere around 24 people.
Okay.
So I'll say over 35. But trust me, missing it bad. We play at Football Factory, but obviously Football Factory and other places like bars and whatnot were among the first places to be closed down. So my football on those 2 nights is a big deal because we play for 2 hours and maybe we drink for another couple hours. Yeah.
What Sandor? Must be water. Pastor
No, you drink water while you play.
And then they drink the waters after.
Whatever, spirits, beer. So I mean, that's one of the main things. You mentioned cricket. Yes, Rochelle. Back in your days, I was big in cricket.
Yeah.
Not so much. I don't know where I found so much time to play cricket. When I look back, I'd be spending like a weekend playing for UA. I'm just like, where did I find that time? No. I'm looking at like, there's no way I could be playing cricket from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on a Saturday, Sunday.
What?
That's what was going on back then. But anyway, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have what we have right now. So it was different. That aside, I guess my family will say the other thing that my other leisure activities work. My business is 24/7, even though I don't necessarily work 24/7, although they might say it. but the business of social media marketing is constant. So even when you're not actually, it's a weekend, there may be things happening that you need to cover. There may be things happening on pages that the team needs to be managing, whatever. It's just ongoing. So that's always on a side. But other than that, I mean, in COVID times, what I've been doing a lot of is watching Netflix, having a drink more than normal after work hours.
I see Aisha Panton, and her comment was just,
You have a lot to say about the football. A lot. Other than that, I mean, I really miss the social aspect of things that always happen. I mean, I'm not a hardcore party person. Like I know Gary from Pan Knock. I mean, there was a time when I was doing some workout at what's the name of that nightclub, Gary, out at Portmore.
Famous.
Famous.
How dare you? And you lose the work, you know.
No, man, I will be coming in like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Gary's at every single one. And it's like,
The
so I'm
money's
not
running a business.
Of course, you have to be there for your business.
Was market research.
Yeah. Embedded. In fact, I have a video to send to you. 2011, one of them sound clash thing. Of course, you see people are going. Anyway, I miss the social stuff that would be happening. You know, I'm a big party person, but there are certain times of the year that I love. I love Christmas parties. I love some of the summer stuff done in the Easter weekend. Sort of, you know, you do it for a period. So, and then obviously you have other types of social events, and of course, my wife's business is totally about events, and none of that is happening right now. So we're looking forward to almost getting back to normal, because I don't know if there'll be a new normal next few months or whatever. It might be a while.
Yeah.
Big up Sean.
Big up, yeah.
Sean Bailey from them there in Canada now.
So, well, I think we should ask David. I saw David's profile is very extensive, by the way. It gives me a lot of information. So football, I already know.
Before I talk about David's profile, because I follow Shani. I love Shani. I wish I could Zumba like Shani. And when Shani talk about her husband, and
you couldn't do this program without mentioning Shani.
And she have the best husband. So, David, we cannot go no further. And you know, all the men will have to go through, because I see Mrs. Panton online. And when these ladies describe their husbands,
yes,
they say, husband no good again.
No, big up wifey. And, you know, funny enough, you know, we're talking about influences and so forth, and Shani has really, you know, done well in her business. When we first met, business wasn't on the radar for Shani. I mean, she was a teacher and doing pretty well at that. And then she started her business. And especially during this COVID time, man, she just dived into online marketing of her business. And it's like she just had to find a way to keep her business going because the gym was closed. So, you know, to be honest with you, she was an influence on me during this time, because the first week, like Sandor said, I was like, all right, Netflix holiday. You know, I just took a total break, and you found yourself slipping into a relaxed mode, which is not normally normal for us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, speaking with her and seeing what she was doing, it really motivated me to get back out there and doing what I like to do. But I don't like how you guys will skip over me with the party business. And I used to go party too. Gary, tell him we start nightclub together now, man. So I think
Because
that,
we didn't know.
Wait, listen, guys, it's true. I will vote for him. It's true. Sean, it does let him go out every now and again.
no, but the funny thing is, the funny thing is, we had a run for maybe about 5 years, which we were out at the club I don't even know how she really let me go too much, to be honest with you.
Fiction.
Let me tell you, we, as Sandor said, we're coming home at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a mixture of business and, of course, having lots of fun. We had a really good time with that.
We ended up with 3 picnic each.
That was the strategy. We doesn't have children, so they stay home during that time. But seriously, party business, we had fun doing it, and I think that we still have like SPF weekend, but we always found a way to marry the business with the entertainment. So hopefully, while we were having fun, we found a way to pay for it. So we've been doing that stuff from we were kids. When I lived in Miami, we had nightclubs there, we had parties. It was just like a way of life. So I think entertainment is just a part of our fabric. We can't all do it like Gary, because Gary really, as you said, Sandor, mash up the place. And the thing is, I don't know how he does that and still get up in the morning and go to work and function. And he does it because I call him and he's there doing it, right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing when you can have that ability. I can't anymore, at least. I mean,
you guys need to start a mentorship program, because what it is now, you guys are the next generation of the great Jamaican leaders. Wow. One of the things is that there's a whole set of young people that are looking at you guys.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the young men who are going into business? What kind of legacy do you want to leave for them to follow?
Well, let me start by saying it's not an overnight thing. So what I find, I always wanted to have my own business. At first, I didn't know what it was. Eventually, I figured it out. But I worked for people for 10 years before, you got a certain level of experience and knowledge, and that you could then take to set your own business up or whatever. So what I find happening now is, yes, everybody just wants to reach where they're reaching, from them leave whichever university. I'm just like, yo, the good thing is that unlike when I just left university, it's a lot easier to set up your business, to actually start a business from the get-go. So I wouldn't knock anybody for doing that. I just think sometimes that you just need to know that it's not like you're paying dues or whatever, but you need to get a certain level of knowledge and experience that you can only get from, working in a business. It could be your business, but I'm just saying, there's some things it's better if you just get it from just getting in the trenches and then moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I support what you're saying, Sandor. Experience. I think that, but this COVID period, I think is a reset, and I think we're going to come out of this looking at things differently. I think we're just fast paced. Everybody wanted to do everything so fast,
mm-hmm.
And so I endorse what you're saying, and I think that young people wanting to go into business, there are a lot of older people, experienced people. They have a lot to teach, and if you open your mind to it, I think that it will pay dividends. But I think that we also have to look at how we do things, the integrity of how we do things, how we sell, how we market. We talk in our group, and it's hard for me to try and sell something that I don't believe has value. All right. So it's about that value proposition and ensuring that what you get into, you believe in it, and you're going to put your all into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have to have that passion. I've found that for me, lately, one of my passions is real estate development, You mentioned earlier we're doing a project in Cayley down in Arakabe. And whenever I'm going to that project, I feel so relaxed. I want to learn what's going on out there because I'm passionate about it, you know. And there were aspects of my work before COVID that I felt like it was just Groundhog Day. I was just going through the motion.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get caught up in that. So when you're enjoying what you're doing, it's a whole different story, you know. So that's another tip. Look at something that you think that you will be passionate about, or you know that you're passionate about, and follow that path.
Yeah, and I got involved in a form of mentorship through this program with Yannick Page that we did for 8 seasons, called the Innovators, and it's one of the most rewarding things I ever did, right? Because I think we really were able to, these are micro businesses that came in, that, you know, started because of somebody's vision and somebody's passion, and then they just immediately realized, you know, how difficult things can be, and they get leaks and know they need help. And I think we were able to kind of, you know, not by any real magic, really just kind of using our own experiences that we have had along the way, and give them some guidance. And, you know, the stories that came back to us, success stories that came back to us, and they weren't all success stories, right? But quite a few of them did quite well. You know, utilizing some of the guidance that we gave them, and I think that's definitely one of the most rewarding things I did. But back to Sandor's point, there is mentality, and you see it even more prevalent with the younger people, where it's just instant, everything is instant gratification. Like, there's no process, there's no, you know, there's no point, there's no journey to get to where they're going. They just want to be there now, and all of us in here know that that's not how it works, right? And I think, so again, to the point that the guys made before, you know, the more you are involved in business, whether that is in whatever capacity you're working for somebody, you know, you're in a large organization, in a small organization, whatever it is, as you go through the cycle, you start to understand, you start to take some licks, right? Because you're going to take licks in business. That's what happens. And I think before you get to the stage where you're going to say you're going to be your own boss, you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to start your own business, you need to get your head around the fact that it is going to be extremely difficult, and you're going to take some massive licks along the way. And if you're not prepared to do that, and if you can't deal with that reality, then it's maybe not for you. You know what I mean? Because it's not for everybody, right? But one thing for certain, things are going to go wrong. I don't know anybody that is in business that's going to sit there and tell you that, you know, everything just went as planned, and it just can be, and, you know, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So we talked about, of course, getting hits in business, and, you know, learning from experience and all of that. And David made mention to how COVID has presented some opportunities, and, you know, Chani has helped him to shift his mindset around it. But what are some of the real opportunities in business now? Because all of your business have been impacted by COVID, right? Especially entertainment, coffee. I'm not sure how it has been impacted. Good. But what are some of the opportunities that you've seen come out of this period as far as your business has been impacted?
Well, since you mentioned coffee, let me just jump in here. Like, you know, at the start of the program, you said David is involved in different things, and that's similar to having a diversified portfolio. So coffee, sports, entertainment. So coffee globally has kind of remained, people still drinking their coffee, so our orders haven't fallen off for like our exports. The local market is, because of the tourism sector, that has taken a hit with the roasted coffee, but that's not a big part of our particular business. My sports business now, locker room sports, that's for the last 2 months, that's zero business. All sports have you know, it's closed down. But I sit on two government boards, Sports Development Foundation and Independence Park. And so, in our meetings, we've been discussing, planning, what's going to happen to the sports industry when things come back. So I'm looking at opportunities in that field, looking at sanitization, at sports related facilities. So you look at your business, one business was particularly retail, which has slowed down. But now I might have to shift the type of products that I'm doing in that sports arena. So, that's I'm really taking this time to think about what opportunities are coming up around sports and keeping track of the global trends, what FIFA is thinking, what EPL is doing, and seeing how it's going to relate to my company. I supply all of the uniforms for schoolboy football. There might not be schoolboy football in September, right? That's an impact on the business. So that's that area. Entertainment. Well, Gary and I are in business in entertainment. That's pretty flat now. He's been doing a tremendous job working with our local outlet with Jackson Records, trying to do, the takeout, etc. But I think he's working on stuff to do some virtual entertainment and so forth. So you just have to try and get creative. It's a time for us to just look at the global picture, and you have to stay positive, guys, and you have to believe. As an entrepreneur, you have to find a way. There's no option. You need to find a way. Yeah, and it sounds corny, but it's like water. You can't go this way. You have to go this way. You go over, you go under. And an entrepreneur needs to find a way to survive. Yeah.
I think I'm anxious to hear what Sandor has to say, but because of the technology space, it's unique. But if you look at COVID and its impact on industries, on the different industries that exist, hospitality and leisure, which restaurants fall within, has been the hardest hit by more than double of any other industry that exists, right? And it was the quickest hit, right? It got hit immediately, and it got hit the hardest. It's probably going to take the longest to come back. So unfortunately, we have two lines of business. We have the real estate side, which David mentioned, is going really well, and I think that'll be impacted a lot less, we anticipate. But certainly on the restaurant side of the business, it forces us to move into a mode of innovation and trying to really kind of think out how this is going to work. I mean, if you look in the United States, about 20% of that industry is gone forever. I mean, at the end of April, and they expect that that's going to continue to grow as we head towards the end of the year. And the reason for that is pretty, I mean, as a restaurateur, we understand why that is, right? Because restaurants typically don't carry months and months of cash flow to be able to deal with no income, right? So it stands to reason that the ones that don't have the stronger balance sheets are going to suffer, right? But what does that mean? If you mentioned what are the opportunities? I think opportunities are that if you're losing 20% of an industry, you got to think there's now a lot of the labor market has changed. There's a lot more chefs, waiters, waitresses, managers, that are going to be out there. So the labor pool is going to be a lot more dynamic. It's going to be a lot stronger. You have to think about real estate, right? Real estate now, there's going to be locations are going to be popping up all over the place. Landlords are going to need to get tenants in there. The property market's going to change. So if you're in the restaurant business, although the industry is in a shambles, you can pretty much rest assured that if you do what David says and you remain positive and you try to position yourself to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to arise post-COVID, then you could really stand to do exceptionally well, right? So that's the mode that we are in right now. It's really to try and understand what are those opportunities that are being created, where are those openings, and just move into them as at the appropriate
time. My 2 cents. So the COVID crisis is kind of forcing many businesses to take that final leap, to take the digital space, the online space seriously. So it's been happening. It's kind of happening. It's happening to happen, but it don't happen properly. So it's. I think the COVID is now the final step in terms of just to see what's going on. I mean, in terms of my business, in terms of like, for example, social media management for clients. I mean, it's hectic right now. I mean, everybody now wants to make sure that they're leveraging the social space as much as possible because people are there. It's something I've been, even before social media became a thing, when I was big in the online marketing space. I still recall this pitching to this giant here in Jamaica, 2004. A brand manager, and the man was like, nah, my target audience is on the internet. It's just like, no, you're wrong. Yes, maybe it was a little early, but I think within another 2 years that particular company was busy in the space. But there's no way you can get around the internet, the digital space now. It's just, you just have to, as a company, it has to be a part of your business model, your marketing, your everything. And if it will help your company to stay in the space, then you need to figure out how to make that happen. And obviously, it depends on different types of companies. But for me, yes, it's busy for me with the digital marketing aspect, but I'm also kind of looking back at what was the area of focus before I got in social, which is just online. You have a product, you have something that people want to subscribe to, or you have something that people are willing to pay a small fee for. So I'm kind of slowly but surely doing something in the dancehall music space, because I'm hardcore dancehall fan from day one. Dig up all them old cassette them and all them things, but there are opportunities with music in a way, so I'm looking at them.
I'll be there.
So
we're getting
somebody said something about diversity in your portfolio. Very important. Multiple income streams. So before I got into the social space, one of the key things behind my online business was I had websites that had ads or affiliate program stuff on there. And I got traffic for these sites through Google. SEO. I don't know if anybody would know what SEO is. Anyway, the sites ranked. People came on the sites, they saw the ads, they clicked it, they went and bought whatever. They did something, and you would get some trickle down money, whether it's from the click or from a sale or whatever. It was doing very well for me. And then Google just did this update, and just hundreds of my sites just got killed. Nowhere. They were number 1 or in number 5 or number whatever in the rankings, and then they just disappeared. So that taught me a good lesson. I can't put all my eggs in one basket, because almost overnight, because Google decided to do this update and kind of knock a lot of these sites like mine that were kind of beating the system. It just forced you to say, all right, what else can I do? Anyway, multiple income streams.
I think that if you're working and you want to diversify your portfolio and you're afraid to step out, you could start off by, I would encourage young people to start investing in the stock market, pick a few companies, get a financial advisor to advise them, pick a few companies and start investing in the stock market. Don't just buy the stock, but follow the companies, go to the AGMs, read the different reports and learn more about those businesses. and follow the company's growth, and hopefully hopefully make some money out of it. But it can be a way for you to actually be involved in other businesses without actually having to be in the day-to-day, and then once you build the confidence over time, then you might feel to step out. But definitely, whilst you have a job, or whilst you're doing one thing, you could look at the market to kind of diversify your portfolio, so to speak.
Yeah, Alicia looks like a young person, and I'm hesitant to promote too much diversity, especially in early stages, right? In the sense that I think that to make something successful, you need to put 300% of yourself behind it. And I have found that, where we have a business and, we're stuck installed for 2-3 years before we turn the corner and start to really kind of reap any real reward from it. And so not taking anything away from what was said, and of course there's a lot to be said about diversification, but I definitely think it really we need a lot more specifics to be able to kind of, I guess, give some advice where that is concerned. But certainly from my own personal experience, it's not going to happen. You're only dealing with it if only part of you is dealing with it. I think that you have to be very careful with that concern, especially as a young person starting out. You need to understand that whatever it is that you're going to do, you're going to give it your entire self and then some.
One of the things I would say, because part of being on this program is to talk about things that some of your experiences, yeah? And I would say that, I started Locker Room 20 years ago, long time now. And when I first started, I was renting, I was making certain decisions, and you tend to plow back, like as Gary saying, you're putting everything back in the business to grow. I would say that two things, if you're starting out, in your business, they always say pay yourself first. So I think that there should be a certain amount when you make money or you're doing well, you should always put away a percentage right away. And if you don't have the time to monitor other businesses, this is why I was directing it towards investing it, in a particular investment vehicle. So you don't have to be so hands-on, and simple things like taking a mortgage for a space versus renting over time. You look at over a 20-year period, you would have asset appreciation on something versus the rent that you've paid. Massive rents in malls, etc. So these are just 2 points that I think that somebody stepping out into business now. Those are 2 critical things I think can help them when they look 20 years later at their balance sheet. They could say, well, we've been paying mortgage, but we have this building now that's worth X amount, and we've been saving 5 or 10% off of our net, and we have this investment. You don't want to be in business for a long time, and at the end of it, you don't have anything to show. A crisis hits you, and you go, wow, we don't have any. There's nothing in the war chest. There's nothing saved because you're just playing it, month by month or period by period. You always want to try to put away a little something. I mean, Gary, you remember when we started Fiction, and one of the things that we implemented was the Fiction's a nightclub, and we know a nightclub doesn't last very long. So we started to put away a little money each week. And that's how we started Tracks and Records, because when we needed to find the down payment on Tracks and Records, we were able to have that money from the nightclub to then start the restaurant. And it was that philosophy that we used, if you remember, putting away a little something, and it will help you so you can invest out of your savings.
Thank you, Marvin. That was definitely our next question. We want to know who is homeschooling and how they're managing at home. So Marvin went straight into our next question. Thank you, Marvin.
Let me start the answer. Marvin is my brother-in-law.
How old your kids are, so that everybody else knows.
Yes.
Well, let me start by saying Marvin Hall, revolutionary, pioneering education field in Jamaica.
We're glad he's on, because he's going to need to be on our show. Hi, Marvin.
Yeah. just happens to be my brother-in-law. He also happens to be the first person who told me about Facebook. Yeah.
Really? Yes.
Marvin said, "Yo, you hear about Facebook?" It's like, no, what's that? Boy, innovation. Well, let me tell you the innovation that's about to happen in my house. All I've been getting is cussing about the Wi-Fi not working everywhere. Yes, Flow and Digital been having issues or whatever, but apparently we just need to get this Wi-Fi to be working all over the place. So I actually just got this system that I need to open it up now where you can figure out it will have, you'll be able to access the internet anywhere in the house. That's one innovation that's going on here. Everybody, thankfully, my children, I have two children, two daughters, they're first form and second form at Campion. Thankfully, the Campion is a bit organized. They have online schooling, and I know some people have been having parents doing the schooling for prep school and some preschool or whatever. So I haven't had that problem. They're kind of managing themselves. We're all here together. So that's been interesting. But we're not tired of each other yet.
So before we move on to Gary and David with that question, I just want to clarify, because I see Marvin trying to clarify his question here in the comments. So it's not specifically about homeschooling, but more about, has this crisis caused any kind of innovation just in your home, the family environment, and how are you continuing to sustain that aspect of life? Because I know for a lot of us all the time, right? So that's what we really want to hear from you guys. So okay. David or Gary, you can take it away as well.
Make sure your home still works. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's where. Well, thanks for the clarification. But Sandor started off by the internet. Boy, let me tell you, when the internet chips out, is what? You know, I'm like a 10-year-old daddy. What is wrong with the internet? Like, you know. But thankfully, you know, my kids, boy, technology, they've been on the iPads from their little. They you know, it seems like a seamless transition for them to be doing online classes, and you know, they just get up and they're signing in, and boy, I'm really impressed. I can't take any credit for doing any extra work with them during this whole time. They've just been kind of doing their thing responsibly. Well, they're at a particular age now. Molly is 10, Ty is 13, going 14, and India's a big girl. She's a Campion too, fourth form. So they've been very responsible. And what I found for me, you know, we're doing a lot more. I teach them how to play dominoes. We've been playing French dominoes, so that's a good innovation. More games, but yeah. So some more family time. I know in terms of innovation, anything new, as I said, it was really impressive how they were prepared to deal with this period, you know. So you know, kudos to the schools, and you know, I think that they've been pretty impressive. So I'm watching to see what happens next.
Yeah, I think for me it was a little sticky at the beginning. Like the first couple of weeks just felt like we were a little out of sorts. Everybody was kind of on top of everybody, and you know, all the kids are home. The homeschooling at that point hadn't really been worked out entirely yet, and I think it got a little crazy. But since then, everything has really sorted itself out, and you know, I mean, Haley, my youngest, is 4 years old, and she is in class every morning from 8 o'clock until like 1 o'clock. And it's amazing how she's adapted to that and really got involved in that. And I know Marvin said it wasn't just about homeschooling. I'm going to get to that. But a lot of people don't realize my master's degree came from University of Liverpool, and I did the entire 2-year course sitting right here in Kingston. So I know all about online education. And for me, I always tell everybody, I would never say it's better than physically attending university, because in my undergrad, I had a lot of great friends and we had a lot of fun. And there's something about a teacher being in the class and, you know, you're getting that kind of direct one-on-one. But there's also a lot of great benefits to having the online education. I think I got it from an education perspective. Maybe it was also because I was a little older and I appreciated more what was going on. But from an education perspective, I got so much out of my MBA, like massively, and I still refer back to a lot of those things today. But back to like COVID time at home, we are, like David said, we've gone into like board games, we've gone into movie nights. I mean, the truth of the matter is we're really loving it, because as much as I love to go to a dance, there's nothing I love more than spending time with my family, right? So the kids are just like, and especially for the youngest one, having everybody around and everything else, she's just in heaven, right? I think the older ones are like, yeah, I would like to see my friends now. And, you know what I mean? They want to get back to business. But we've been grilling a lot on the barbecue. We're doing things that we just never typically did. Not any great innovations, but we're doing a lot of things that we never used to do before. And I just want to say, I'm very disappointed, Sandor, in your connectivity at home as a tech guy. That's weak. That's poor. I don't think there's an excuse for that. And I hope my wife is listening to this, because she always cusses me about technology in my house. And I have Flow Digicel. I have access points in every room in the house. Hey, oh God, we have it good over here.
I'm fixing it.
Aisha,
Aisha answered for my family. She just said, life hasn't been upended by being home. Okay?
So you know what's interesting? So for the girls know Ajani, and I was saying to them recently that I feel like during COVID, my child literally became a teenager, like in the last few weeks, because he's always been like that child that was my own child, but like literally under my armpit all the time. And over the last couple of weeks, he's like in his room, and I only see him when he's hungry or if he needs some help with something. So that has been really interesting. But what we have been doing to connect a lot is we play Mario Kart. So we've been playing Mario Kart like every night. That's our thing. We connect with some of my friends in New York and we play together. Nice. So that's our thing now.
Cool.
My niece told me today, she's 3 years old, that she's bored of homework and she's not doing it anymore. So, right. So you guys have some powerhouse wives.
Yes.
I mean, if we thought about any of you, you know, your wives are automatically going to be at the forefront of everybody's mind.
Absolutely.
So I will ask Dave first. What is it like to be the husband of the powerhouse that's in Shannon and Shirley?
Well, I don't go to her classes. That's the first thing, because I can't take her body me up in no class, right? She is brutal in her classes, but the people just keep coming back for the pain.
It's true.
No, it's great, man. It's been a great journey, you know. Shani and I mean, listen, you know, COVID time, I'm not going to tell no lie. The first part of it was rough, because we're just not accustomed to being at home at that same time. And I'll tell you a little story. I have a friend, a very good friend, you know. Sometimes I think he's mad, but when the COVID thing started, you guys know him too. The guy moved downstairs. He has a room downstairs, right? So he moved downstairs and said he's doing COVID. He's going to be in his little apartment room downstairs in his house. So I said, how would that work? Well, you and your wife vex her? So I'm saying, no. After the first day, she was like, you're not getting out of bed. I want to make up the bed. Right? Why are you eating in bed? I said, listen, I'm going downstairs to save my marriage. So he went downstairs, right? And he's been downstairs the whole time during COVID. But they're fine, you know, because just go downstairs and go back upstairs. And I don't know what to do. They're keeping it exciting. My first week of COVID, you know, my wife tell me after about a week some things that bother her that she just never tell me all these years, right? Some like simple things, you know. But it's just that it was a transition and the uncertainty, and you know, everybody kind of just under these little pressures. So I think the first part of it But what carried us through and what usually carries us through is our communication, right? So when it get really bad, we sit down, we talk about it, and I rant and she talk and so on. We get over it and we move forward. We've always been able to communicate about what is bothering us and how we can try to fix it moving forward. So that's been a blessing for us, you know. Shani, I don't know if you guys know it, but Shani was kind of known before I met her, and then she kind of just dropped off the scene when we first got married and just having kids and everything. So I would go to a lot of places, and people probably even know that I was married, you know, because I was always going to places, football games, whatever, by myself. And then after having the 3 kids and her getting into her fitness and whatever she does, she puts her all into it. So with the fitness thing, she started to really push it, and you know, so people just gravitate towards her. They're appreciating the value that she's giving them, not selling them short in the lessons, etc. And so I'm happy for her. Her thing is going to, and I've been very supportive, because a lot of times husbands or wives can't be happy for the other person when they're enjoying success. You know, when there was a time when we were having a lot of success, we were in the papers every week for what we were doing with nightclubs or sports or whatever. And she was there for me during that time. Now she's doing her thing and she's social media and she's whatever. And I'm fine with it, you know. So yeah, I'm supportive with it. It's a bit challenging when she's doing the classes in the living room, then the bedroom interview, and it's like about the bedroom. So the house has become during COVID time like a studio, right? I don't know if you noticed, but I was sitting in this chair and she came in and she go, you know, said, oh, fix up the chair. Hold on. So, and she's a perfectionist, but no, man, it's great, you know. She's the alpha female, and you know, I am 9 years older, so I think that, you know, where I am in my life, I'm able to be easy and deal with things, you know. But it's great.
Awesome.
Sorry for the two of you.
Gary.
Better come good.
Do we have to answer that?
Yes.
No, but I worked out with Shani once, and believe me, I just gained so much respect for David after that. So it was rough. But no, I a lot of people don't know this, but I mean, Tina and I, although we've been married 15 years. Yeah, 15 years.
Right.
14 or 15. It's on the inside of a ring. I was reading it. Anyway, the truth, we've been together for like 25 years, right? Not continuously, but we started dating when we were much, much younger. So the thing with Tina and I is that we are like bona fide friends. I mean, we have a friendship that, you know, it's way deeper than I think, you know, a typical relationship, you know, husband and wife relationship, just because of where it's kind of coming from and that relation, that later time. So, you know, we joked about it the other day. You know, we could be locked in a bathroom together for 3 months and we laugh and I mean, we'd find a way to make a great time out of it. So, so I think that really is the kind of the fabric, the foundation. As David says, though, I mean, there's obviously times when you fight like hell and you cry like hell and all of that stuff, too. But for the most part, I think that certainly, I mean, you guys said it. She's a powerhouse, right? I have so much respect for her professionally. I mean, she runs one of the largest organizations in Jamaica, and she's probably one of the best marketers. Not probably, she's the best marketer I've ever seen. Of course, I'm hesitant to say it most of the time because obviously it's my wife, and people are gonna say, "Well, you say that because your wife." But honestly speaking, I mean, I've been around a lot of people, and I mean, I know Catherine is top of our game too, and there's some really good marketers around the place. But I listen to some stuff, and I'm also a lot more privy to what Tina's doing than a lot of other people. But I mean, it just blows me away when you see her in a meeting, or when you talk to her about certain things to do with marketing, and you realize the depth of her understanding of marketing. Specifically, I mean, in particular, restaurant marketing, but marketing on a whole. I mean, it's nothing short of genius, and I have a lot of respect for her and love to the professional side of her. But the family side of her, she puts as much as she puts in her professional side of her life, she puts 10 times that amount in her personal side. So like our kids, I mean, she's like super mom, and it blows me away because I mean I'm super close with my mom. My mom was I thought I would say is the greatest mom on the planet, and of course then you see Tina come in and she's mothering our children like at the highest standards as well. I just feel extremely fortunate, and I'm very grateful for that. But she, I hope she's listening because I think that.
Sandor, remember Aisha is online, okay?
Oh, she's here? Okay.
Yes. And she is truly quite a powerhouse herself. I mean, what Aisha is doing in events, and Aisha's entire aura and being, a powerhouse of everybody wants to be Aisha's friend.
Listen,
You get to be her best friend though. What's that
like? I feel no way to say, yeah man, Aisha Panton's husband. Yeah, because sometimes that's the connector for some people.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife is Aisha Panton, foot back foot, creative genius, designer, anything to do with weddings, events, and just pretty stuff. So when post back foot works, I work too. And if she's doing an event, I'm there. I'm her driver. I'm going to buy food for some of our workers. She's sleeping on the drive back home, and I'm the driver. Or she might say, "Can you hand this for me?" or whatever. Whatever. I mean, just there. And the thing is, what I've loved too is just seeing, just her coming into her own with Push Back Foot. We just started out of a party, and then eventually just became this amazing company where we'll be out and people will be just coming up to her and just like, "Hi, I follow you." And I'm just like, "Yo, what's going on here? Your work is amazing." Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, it's good when you have husband and wife team, both of you entrepreneurs. Can be challenging. It is very challenging, but we make it work. I think for the most part, we try and balance, whenever she has events, although that's none right now. So that needs to, so we try and balance, times when you need to be out of town versus, what might be going on with my work. And of course, spending time with your family, with the girls, or her family is very involved, very extended. And this COVID crisis is actually hitting us in a big way, because it's just a very close knit family that's always getting together, whether it's for dinner and all that. I always joke about the fact that my family, what we are coming from is, we get Sunday dinner, and I'd be gone to sit in front of the TV. My mother and father gone elsewhere, my sister gone elsewhere. Meanwhile, Aisha's family, they all eat dinner together every single Sunday, and you know, it rotates from house to house. So that's what it is. So yeah, thumbs up, push back.
Yeah, and we're seeing you guys are getting, we have quite a few comments here online. Difficult to get through all of them, but certainly the viewers are really enjoying the conversation. And in case you guys didn't know, people wanted to hear from you. So we are so happy to have had you on the show. But one of the things we wanted to get from you, all of you are fathers. We just celebrated Mother's Day. You're businessmen, your husbands, your friends, and you are pretty much all rounders that people look up to. In terms of the legacy that you want to leave for your children, what kind of life lessons do you want to leave with them? Gary, let's start with you.
Can you repeat the question?
What legacy for your children in terms of life lessons? When they look back and they come on a program to talk about their father, what lessons do you want that they had gotten from you?
Well, I mean, there are so many, but if you really were to kind of pin it down to one key thing, I think that family being the priority and the main focus over and above everything else, as a foundation and as a I guess
anchor.
Yeah, as an anchor for everything. It really just, I mean, you know, I have 3 kids, and the 2 girls and the boy, and they, you know, they fight like cats and dogs when they're ready. But the truth of the matter is, they are super close, right? As a family, we and anybody in this house can vouch for it. We eat together 7 days a week. We sit down at the dinner table. On the weekend, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. But and in the week, we come home in the evening. And we always sit down at dinner table at 7 o'clock and eat as a family. We hear from each person. And it's not anything that we're trying to do. We're forcing into play. It's just what we do. I mean, if we didn't do it, the kids would be like, "What's going on?" In fact, they go to a friend's house and they'll come home and be like, "You know that they eat it for the weekend." Well, you know, that's fine, but that's not what we do. And you know, I'm not saying that it's the only way, but it's definitely the way I was raised, and I think that, and you know, Tina and I share the view that it's super important, and I think as a result they're gonna kind of grow up as a unit. And going back to this story my grandfather always used to tell, where, you know, he said, you know, give you a give you a card out of a deck of cards and say tear it, and you tear it, and they give you the deck of cards and say tear that, and you can't tear it, obviously. And he said, you know, it's always that unit that makes you that stronger, right? So I mean, I could go into all of the life lessons about integrity and about all of these other things, but I definitely think that family is that kind of core that I would want my family, my kids to emulate.
Love that. What about you, David?
Yeah, I mean, I think family is important, as Gary says. You know, I have 2 girls and a boy, and you know, it's important for me to talk to my girls, especially, to try to let them understand that the decisions that they make should be based on what they want to do, versus what other people influence them to do. So, you know, I keep saying to them, if it's your decision and it ends up being a bad decision, I don't have a problem with it. It's your decision, you know. But so the power of influence, I always try to combat against that. So I guess what I want them to have is the strength to be independent thinkers and decision makers. Along with that, I would say that it's important that there be people of integrity. Growing up, you know, my dad always used to say to me, "You can go anywhere and call my name, because, you know, because of his track record of how he does things. All right. And it's important, that, especially if you're going into business, because when you're in business, there's going to be situations where it gets tricky and things get a little muddy, and, people try to say things maybe about your character, etc. And I remember if I hear any little thing or whatever, I said, don't worry about it. In a matter of time, that will clear up, because people know what you stand for, and those little things will pass along the way because of your character. You build up that credibility. So it's important for my kids to have credibility moving forward. Yeah. So that's definitely things that I'm working on with them. I mean, in parenting, my wife, one of the things that they know that the kids can't do is lie. Any lying, that's problems, from day one. And so yeah, that's important for me. Integrity and also that independence.
Yeah. That's very powerful. Sandor?
Yeah, my quick input here. So yes, obviously you have the typical, the honesty and hard work. It's a lot of things you try and pass on, especially because you get to see a lot of what the current generation, how they operate, and you try and see things in such a way that, hopefully they don't go down the route that some may be going down, just in terms of, I saw somebody use the word the microwave generation or whatever. I mean, it's just like, so they've grown up, a Google search, this, it's just right there. Whereas we had to go to the library or,
Encyclopedia Britannica.
So, but the key thing that both Aisha and I have been just trying to cultivate in our daughters' minds is just to always just be thinking big, don't try and restrict yourself too much unless it's your parents telling you to behave or something like that. But just try and think big, and also to try and be more than just consumers of whether it's items or content or whatever, because they're busy on TikTok and all that. And one of the things I always say to them is just like, yo, how about you guys come up with a TikTok, like the app, the platform, So rather than you busy pouring into this, you could be busy creating something. It doesn't have to be like what TikTok is. It's just the mindset. So we've been working on that mindset with them. I don't think Aisha has them watching this now, but great.
It will be on YouTube. They can rewatch it.
Okay.
My son is begging for a YouTube channel. Oh, let's I told him, let me see the business plan. What you're going to be doing?
Well,
so really,
my younger daughter will tell you that, Daddy, I don't need a degree to become a millionaire. I can have YouTube channel, and get subscribers, and have ads, which is true.
She's probably
I've heard that talk in this house as well.
I'm trying to explain though that you still need to, you have to know the count. You can count the money. You have to understand the business of just, what you're doing. So there's still value in going through the school that is so boring and pointless. Why are we learning these things? So that conversation. You just have to do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wow.
Lady Davis just said, this better than Netflix.
I agree. Guys, make sure you're watching me, right? Rochelle, we keep forgetting to ask people to actually subscribe to our YouTube channel. So yeah, better than Netflix. Subscribe to the channel, ready to emerge.
And Sandor referenced the microwave mentality a while ago. I credit Leighton with that. It's the first time I ever saw it, and I saw you put that in the comments.
That's cool.
Leighton, and Leighton is also, you need Leighton on the show too, solid entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big up.
I learned a lot from those guys, man.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending the last hour and a half with us.
I know we were looking at the time. We're like, whoa, guys. We're like,
Time flies.
yeah.
Thanks for inviting us.
I ready to go pour another drink.
I think we need a part 2, clearly, because there's so many questions that we haven't answered.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Marvin, for subscribing. Yeah, guys, this was really, really great. I mean, we got a lot of different perspective. We got things, the legacy that we leave with our children, and just how you're even coping just as a normal human being. Because sometimes people see you and they just think that, oh, that's Gary Matalon and David and Sandor, and they're these entrepreneurs and they're fine. Not realizing that we're all affected in different ways, professionally and personally.
Yeah.
So I think it was really great for you guys to just share what's been happening, in your personal life as well as your businesses during this time as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you,
guys. I mean, but before we go, I think, as you said, people see us and they think that, we have it all figured out.
Yeah.
The reality is that we're still figuring it out. We're not perfect. We haven't always been perfect, guys, but, one thing I can tell you, we have a passion to provide for our families, to provide for our employees, and to generally just try and do well. So I think that, it's still a process. And we want to thank you ladies also for what you're doing. And we really appreciate you inviting us. If I can speak on behalf of the other
Thanks, guys. So one thing I want to say, I know that Gary, Sandor, and David are going to be leaving us soon. Hopefully they'll still stay and watch on our YouTube channel. However, guys, don't leave, because as usual, we have our book review and our recommended read for next week, as well as some other information. So don't go just because the guys are gone. We'll still be here for another maybe 10 minutes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, girls.
That was awesome.
I have to admit, today, you remember now I was telling you today, I was just like, the fatigue was killing me today. And I was like, I will not give up on the girls, but I'm hoping that Nai would have heard the pain in my voice and said, Rochelle, go to sleep. You have a young child. You are suffering.
Because you know that I would be the one to say it, right?
Because Catherine would be like, go drink some coffee. For yourself.
Right.
But you know what, guys? This is why we do this. This is why we do this. What an amazing conversation. Aisha Panton, big up yourself. Aisha said, big up my boss. I said, great show. Congrats, guys. Enjoyed. Hi, Kimmy Dongs. I love Kimmy. I said, D3 parenting. Ida Davis was on. Hi, Shakira Chin, Barbie. Guys, this really, really, really has been a wonderful show.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Some of the reasons why, Leighton, we're going to be calling you.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
This is like, I haven't seen Nikki on today, but for all of you who have joined us for the last couple of weeks, this might come as a shocker to you, because Naomi is going to be doing our book review today.
Oh, okay. But guys, I came prepared. I have notes.
For those of you, let's just give everybody some feedback. So for the last couple of weeks, for the last 5 weeks, we've done about 5 books until now, and Naomi has not participated in any of those book reviews.
That doesn't mean that I haven't read them. I just didn't contribute to the book review. Some of them.
Okay.
Naomi read the book.
Exactly.
Why you guys like this? That's, first of all, you started off the show saying that this is my birthday week and you guys were going to be nice to me, and you guys are not being so nice, especially after I delivered freshly baked banana bread to both of you today.
Oh my gosh. You think she's trying to get us fat?
Let me do
Okay.
it.
I love you, Nai. I love you.
What was our book for this
The
week?
kids are going to get banana bread this weekend, but it's okay. Okay, so our book was option B, and that was by Shirley Sandberg. So she's known for Lean In. That was her first book, which was super, super successful. But she really created this book after losing her husband suddenly. Like she was visiting friends in Mexico, and he literally collapsed in the gym and he died. And she wasn't prepared to deal for that kind of grief. So there was no option B, really. And so this book really talks about, you know, finding opportunities for growth as well as joy in the face of trauma. And so we thought that book was actually relevant just because we're all kind of going through our own different types of trauma right now. They may look different for everybody, but it shows that there is light and there is hope even beyond that. One of the things I thought that was interesting about the way that Cheryl saw this is that she spoke about these 3 P's: personalization, pervasiveness, and persistence. And I'll tell you just a little bit about that so you understand what she was saying. So she describes them as the 3 P's of trauma. So personalization is the sense that tragedy happened to us because of something that we did or did not do. In other words, blaming ourselves. Pervasiveness, the way grief infects every moment of our day and every activity we engage in, and that's really mindset, guys. And then persistence, a sense and belief that the grief will never, ever, ever go away. And what she's saying is that she experienced these 3 P's, but she realized that people who avoid these 3 P's actually fare a lot better when dealing with grief. So I found this to be really, really insightful. And one of the things that she addresses is really the hesitance that so many people experience when trying to comfort the victims of tragedy, and the frustration those victims feel when constantly being asked for permission. So, you know, like when someone maybe passes away or you have some kind of tragic situation and it's like the elephant in the room, like, you want to ask, you don't want to ask. And then it's awkward. And then you make the person that's actually dealing with it feel even more awkward. So that's that's what she's really speaking to. And then one of the last things I wanted to point out that I thought was really good is that she really advises us to make a record of the wins, no matter how small they are. So it's similar to even when you have a gratitude journal and you're writing about the things that you're grateful for, even when the world is falling apart. So that's pretty much what she's saying. Keeping track of small achievements or good things that happen in the midst of the worst times of our lives. And for some of us, COVID-19 really is one of the worst times of our lives. Mm-hmm. So what good can still come about from these situations? And it could be something as simple as spending more time with your family, having family dinner, something that we didn't have time for before. Yeah. So it's trying to find all the good things that can still come out of these situations and being grateful for them, acknowledging them. And so what she really explores is the way that we learn from failure, right? You know, and John Maxwell talks about failing forward, the importance of failing forward. And that's what it's about, that we learn more from failure than we ever do from success. And that's really it in a nutshell. So I think right now it's actually a really great book that everyone should really read. If you haven't read it yet, it's on our list. We'll repost it. But that's it, guys. That's the book review.
Oh, nice! You're so bright.
Aisha has a book recommendation for us.
I don't think it's a book, it's a show.
Oh, The Last Dance?
It's amazing, guys. That's the Michael Jordan documentary. I just watched episode 8.
Watch it, yeah.
So I had the biggest girl crush on Michael Jordan during that time when he was playing.
Who don't love MJ?
No. What I'm saying is that to the point where I had my Bulls jersey, and while I'm watching this show, I'm like, where is my jersey? I need to go dig it up and find it because I need to wear it while I'm watching the show. I am even more in love with this man than I was when I was a teenager. It's so good.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in another.
Okay,
show.
sorry. Okay.
So we're gonna watch it now.
It's really good.
So we have 2 things to watch then. So our book for next week.
Nai looks so pretty with her face framed like that. You look like a birthday girl. Do that again, Nai.
Okay, so our book for next week is actually also on Netflix. You can get the audiobook, and the audiobook is amazing because it is narrated by the author. Our book for next week is Becoming. So for those of you who have not taken
Barbie just mentioned it.
Oh yeah, that's our book, girl. It's Becoming by
Yay,
Michelle
that's our
Obama.
book for next week. So Becoming is our book for next week. I know you can listen to the Audible. It's narrated by Michelle Obama. Becoming is on Netflix now. It is an amazing documentary. It really shows you who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is great, as Catherine said, the Audible version, because it is Michelle, it's a big book. So actually, I have the book on my shelf right now, and I bought the book. I didn't physically read it. I started it, but it's a lot. So I downloaded the Audible, and it just felt like I'm talking with my bestie, Michelle
Yeah.
Obama,
Rochelle
on the drive.
talks to her on her Audible.
I mean, it's actually Rochelle's bestie, but
Yeah, Rochelle talks back to her.
It's
but
Michi.
it's so good. It's so good. And now she has this documentary on Netflix. It's not very long. It's about an hour and a half, where she's kind of just chronicling some of the things from the Becoming book. So watch the documentary, and that might encourage you to actually want to read the entire book.
But guys, you realize what's happening, that we're actually getting to morph a lot of things because people are now listening to Audible. The Netflix fans, some people who are just watching mindless series, we now can all watch a little Becoming too, and The Last Dance. So next week we have to discuss The Last Dance.
Oh my God, I'm ready. I don't even need to do. I can absolutely do the review for that with no notes.
With no notes. So next week we're going to discuss The Last Dance. We're going to discuss Becoming, the book and the series. And Michelle, I'm going to see if she can come on the show. She's but I'm going to call her. And I'll let you guys.
I think she can squeeze us in.
I think so, because it's just perfect.
But she's the BFF, Rochelle.
Exactly, call her.
She has to.
I may have to call B though, because B, Barra,
Yeah.
B, and just say B, free her up. Oh my God.
This is awesome, guys, honestly.
So thank you guys for joining us,
Yes.
and for
Thank you
staying
for
with us.
staying with us, Leighton, Aisha, Sasha, Barbie. Thank you all.
All the people, guys, don't forget, subscribe to our channel. We're here live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on our Facebook page, as well as on YouTube. So subscribe so that you get the notification each week. And we'll be announcing soon who will be joining us next week in our Emerge Detour Essentials. So take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Have a great night.
Let's not get carried away with this 8 p.m. extension now. Bye.